There was one I had grabbed the line from a competitor, opened up their box. As soon as I opened up the box, 2 rats just jumped out
Live?
live. Yeah, and the customer had a Doberman, and the Doberman went after him.
Ate him?
He got one of them, and the customer's like, "Get him, get him, get him!" Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It was pretty funny, but I like it jumped out at me, so I was like, "Oh," the customer's like, "Are you afraid of him?" I was like, "I don't know. I guess I am."
Welcome, everybody. We're here with Shift Over, our podcast. My name is George.
I'm Uncle Rich.
And we're really happy and proud and we've been waiting to have this guest in our episode. Looking forward to his stories.
Ruben
Munoz. There you go. And that's your real name, right?
Sure.
All right, we'll take it.
No, yeah, it's real name.
Yeah, we'll take it. And he's going to be telling us a lot of stories today. I know you've heard a lot of stories from us and other episodes, but, we all have different stories. Ruben for sure has his own, and we're going to get started today. So we're going to pick his brain, and he'll have some really good content for you guys. So, Ruben, we're going to do the honors and spin the wheel.
All right, go for it.
All right. Get the brainstorming going. So, there you go. Okay, go ahead and do the honors and spin it.
Blank.
I will spin it some more. And like we tell everybody, you don't get prizes. What do you got?
Hoarders.
There you go. That's a very, very popular topic, right, Richard?
Yep.
And I know we've gone deep into some hoarding situations. I know for sure you have that one that you remember.
Yeah.
That you can't get out of your brain.
Well, the reason I remember it so vividly is because it was literally, you couldn't open the front door. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were you there for?
This is back, I want to say at least 10 years ago. I was there for a service call in Oxnard. Older gentleman, knock on the door, opens the door halfway, and then he says, "Oh yeah, I'm having a problem with my modem." And this is back when it was just the DOCSIS 2.0 modem, so it was like one of those modems. He's like, "You can't come in." I was like, "Well, I need a service, I have a service call. Well, I need to work on the line and stuff like that." He's like, "No, you can't come in because you can't fit." And back then, I'm big, but I was bigger back then. So, and you imagine me with my tool belt and stuff like that. So I look in.
As perspective, how tall are you?
6'1".
And you used to weigh about
300.
And tools as wide as,
290, 300 around there. Yeah. And I look in the apartment, and it's wall to wall newspapers.
Just newspapers?
Newspapers. Just newspapers. And nicely stacked, but everywhere.
Did it have that scent, that newspaper library?
Oh, yeah. But you can also smell rats. You can smell that stuff.
Good times.
Yeah.
He
literally had this much space to get to where he needed to go. And I got in there because I took it myself. It's like, let me look at it. So I got in there, and I'm following him in, and he literally had this much space where he had his computer. And the line was on top of the newspapers going to the wall. And I was like, yeah.
So the cable line that went to the modem was just over those newspapers?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you were like, how the hell am I going to get back there?
I didn't know what I was supposed to do at that point, but I just said, "Look, I can't fix this. I'm sorry." He's like, can you just switch the modem? I go, "I can, but it's not going to work."
Right.
It's not going to work. And he's just thinks it's the modem because, customers know more than you. So they're like, it's just the modem. So I was like, okay, I switch.
Well, because,
they're told on the phone.
Well, and then Google, right?
Yeah.
So they try to Google everything, and then they're like,
Yeah.
like when you look for research for Google medical advice.
Oh yeah, they know. But I swapped out the modem for him. Still nothing, because it had to have been a rat or something like that. It was
Chewed up the
level,
line,
chewed
more
up
than
the
likely.
line or something, but couldn't get to it. And back then it was user to cancel jobs, so cancel that one. But yeah, I to this day I wonder. I mean, he's got to be dead by now, but I
Oh, so
wonder.
he was pretty old.
Yeah, he was older. He had to be in his 80s.
Oh. Single, like no one else in the house, no pets.
If they were buried in the fucking newspapers. But other than that, I mean, I think that's the one that stuck with me because I felt bad for him.
Right.
You see a lot of things, you feel bad for people, but what can you do? You're just there to freaking do a job and not judge people. But sometimes it's hard. Like you judge. It's like, bro.
And that's a pretty common theme that we've had, in our other episodes. A lot of the guys are telling us how some of these people are older.
Yeah.
They can't move. They can't, do a lot of things. And that's why they just stack things, right?
Yeah. No, but this was like OCD type stack. Like it was
very organized.
Very organized, like files. I think he started on the wall and he just started putting on top and then on front, and then he kept going and kept going and kept going.
So he had it organized.
He had it organized. It wasn't like a messy hoard. It was just like
he just collected
things.
Just got
too much for him. Yeah.
No, that's so unfortunate. I mean, you're right. It's been 10 years, and he was probably like his 80s,
70s, late 70s, early 80s. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
well, hopefully he's still alive and
collecting newspapers.
Newspapers.
That was crazy. I was like, damn. I wanted to go back and see, but why?
Yeah. You never heard of any stories about anybody going back?
No. I mean, back then you didn't have to tell anybody. You just cancel the job because you could do it.
Well, I think like it was said that a lot of us are aware of certain homes. We've been there, or we just know when we say that one house at that one place. So.
Or that one place that it's just going to be bad, the neighborhood wise. Like Cuesta. That area.
Which is in the south of Oxnard.
Yeah, that place right there, it's hit and miss with the wiring. So
it's so that people understand also, that's an area where it's a lot of projects. Yeah. So it's a lot of people that move in, move out. Apartments are not well taken care of, and
it's just new line after new line or old line there, and you just grab it and go. And everything's walled off. Every side of the building is gated and locked, and there's no access. So you just do what you can.
Exactly. All right, you want to go with another topic?
Sure.
All right, let's spin the wheel again. Again, you don't get a prize, but they get a prize. The ones that are watching and listening.
I'm coming up black.
Come on,
Ruben, you gotta put more. Look, you gotta put more
grease, more elbow grease,
more sazon. What's this? Infestation.
Infestations. We all love those infestations.
There's so many. There's so many.
Was there one that you were kind of like, I don't want to go in there, but
so yeah, I'm trying to clean this up because
it's not about cleaned up. I mean,
how do I say this? It was infested, and it's another apartment complex in the north side of Oxnard.
But is it a complex or a situation where you pulled up and you already know? I mean, know because maybe you've been there, but
no. I mean, again, it's like people are either clean or they're not, right? And so, apartment complex, you get a mixture. You can be in a weird or a bad neighborhood and have a clean house, So this was that situation where you're in a bad neighborhood.
Just because you're poor don't mean you have to be dirty. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So this situation was kind of messed up because I get there, knock on the door, and this lady answers, and then they open the door, the smell hits you. You can smell cockroaches, you could smell urine, and the humidity.
So it was that bad.
The humidity made it worse because I guess they didn't open the windows. It was bad. Mold on the walls, cockroaches everywhere, and the part that got me was there's like 7 little kids running around.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. In an apartment complex, a 2-bedroom apartment.
Was there a lot of people there, or just like a family? Just
It was one of those situations where they rent out rooms, and you can see they have like 4 beds in one room, and the freaking kitchen has a bed, that type of situation.
Yeah.
And I just felt bad for the kids, but there was only one lady watching these had been 7 kids. And it was just the box, and the box went out because of why? Cockroaches. Yeah.
Yeah, the cockroaches get into the electronics inside.
And boom, zap them.
Cover the clock.
Yep.
It's EO2.
Yeah, those are the ones where you just leave the box there on the account and you just walk away from it.
You don't even want to take it to
You
put it in a bag, right?
Yeah, you feel bad for the next box. You're like, I'm sorry, buddy, but you gotta go. And that
take
box,
one for the team.
Yeah. I've done it to where I put the new boxes in bags. Like, I know this is gonna get cockroaches, but let's try to leave this one on for a little bit longer. But
right.
If it's that bad, I just leave the boxes there. But going back to the kids, they're just crawling around in this dirty carpet. Bugs crawl. I mean, I almost feel fleas. The type where you start itching as soon as you leave. Yeah,
yes.
That's how bad that was. And
Wow.
I felt bad for the kids, but then you kind of just have to brush to the side because that's not your problem.
Right.
Now, do you use like a tool belt, tool bag?
Oh, belt. I use
Belt.
a tool belt. Yeah.
And I just asked because for me, I wear the vest, but
I thought
most of
about
the
getting a
situations
vest,
I don't stop moving, so I'm kind of dancing back and
Yeah.
forth, and I look like I have to use the restroom, but
I don't
I don't want to stay still.
I don't put
'cause-
my meter down,
Yeah.
and I wear gloves.
Yeah. Because
You know?
if you were to have a tool bag, and put it down, things just starts crawling in there.
Yeah.
You take them back to your
and
van,
it's over.
and then you start
Yeah.
seeing things on your shoulders. And
No, yeah. Once you get into those situations where there's an infestation, you definitely don't put anything down. And if you do, just wipe it up. Get
Now,
some-
in another episode, we were talking about the smell of certain things, right?
Yeah.
So, like you were saying, when they opened the door, you could just smell cockroaches.
Yeah.
So, to
Oh,
you,
A lot of people, either they don't run into it that often. We do because on a daily basis, we go into different homes.
Mhm.
You can tell, you can smell it right away. There's cockroaches in this house.
but describe in your
you.
words, what was that smell?
Like if you sift through it for the people, what is it?
It's like, imagine a stale, almost Dorito type smell, but like a little bit of funk on the end. I don't know. Like, yeah.
But is that you already recognize it because
Yeah.
we've been to so many houses with roaches. It's like we see them and it's like you just smell it, right?
Yeah.
So we had another episode again because with the smell of the roaches, and we were trying to describe it, but for people out there that don't or haven't seen a situation with roaches,
God bless you if you've never had this. I mean, you've been lucky, but I mean, it's bad. It's a very distinct smell. You can once you smell one time and you put it to that to the roaches, it'll always be in your brain.
right?
In any house you go to, you'd be like,
that pungent aroma.
yeah, you got roaches.
Yeah, like if you go to a family member's house, you don't want to say nothing, but you're like, yeah, my cousin has roaches.
Yeah, yeah. And
so
then
are you allergic? Do you know allergic to roaches or?
no, I'm not allergic to them as per se. Like I break out or anything like that. No, but I just
Cool.
don't rather not
Bless
mess with
you.
them. Yeah, are you allergic to roaches?
Hell yeah.
Me too.
Well, what do you mean? How are you allergic to them?
So
Ew, I don't want to know.
I'll tell you how I found out. I'll tell you how I found out. So when I was obviously installing, we go back to our warehouse,
Yeah.
where we would return our equipment that we would replace at a house, and we get new equipment so that we can install
Yeah.
in the following days. So when I first started, I was returning my equipment, and just like every day, like every normal week that we go, I was giving them my old boxes, and I happened to touch my eye somehow, like it was itching, so I just scratched my eye, and I didn't think much of it, and I still kept talking to the guys. I was returning my equipment. A few minutes go by, my eye's still itching, and then the other one starts itching, so I'm kind of just doing this, kind of scratching a little bit, and one of the guys comes up to me and tells me, what the hell's wrong with you? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, look at your eyes, they're all swollen. So the top of my eyes got super swollen. You know, the top of the eyelid
Yeah.
was super swollen. And then I'm like, what? So I go to the bathroom and I look in the mirror, and yeah, my freaking eyes were so swollen. By the time I got to the bathroom, I'm like trying to blink, and they were heavy. So then I come back out, and my supervisor tells me, oh, you know what? Let's go to the clinic and see what's going on. So we go to the clinic, and they start, the doctor comes out and tells me,
You need
oh,
physical
you have
therapy.
allergies. You got to be allergic to something. At that point, we didn't know what it was, right?
Yeah.
And like, again, I just had started it. I hadn't been at the job very long. So he gave me Benadryl. And I took the Benadryl. It started going away after, 30, 45 minutes. So then I went back, didn't really think much of it, but then I made an appointment with my doctor, my, personal doctor, and I explained the whole situation. Then he's like, oh, let's do some blood work. So I went, got my blood drawn, and, I got the results later. And then he calls me and says, hey, I got the list of the things that you're allergic to. And then, we start going over it. And cockroaches, I was like super allergic to. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it is. So, he started telling me about shrimp. And I'm like, I definitely didn't have any shrimp. You have to consume it, eat it. I'm like, the only thing I can think of is roaches, because obviously in the cable boxes, we always go to houses with roaches. And that's how I found out I was allergic to roaches. And
Congratulations.
ever since.
So you haven't been attacked for a while. So how would you deal with it? Gloves every time?
Well, I would use gloves. I would carry Benadryl with me. I would have Zyrtec all the time. But I wouldn't touch my face or anything in my body. So I would have my gloves, get a box, and if again, we're going back to the smell. Mm-hmm. Once you go to a house and you detect that smell, it's like, they got roaches here. I would just get that bag or that box, put it in a bag.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I'll take my gloves off, spray them, and put them away, wash my hands, and that was it. But I had to be very careful every time I went to a house after that.
Yeah. I used to take bug spray, put them in the plastic bag, spray the bag with the box and everything, and just leave them there in the sun for a bit. Because once they get in your van, you're screwed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I didn't want to do either. I didn't want them to get in my van. So we have these bags they give us at work, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Ziploc bag, but they're like about this big. Yeah. So you can fit a bunch of things in there. I would double bag it.
Yeah. And I would even
just to be sure.
I would even zip tie it to the ladder rack sometimes.
Leave them outside?
Leave them outside. Just so the sun could bake them and kill them.
Yeah.
But
do they really die?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're roaches,
They made me feel better, I don't want them in my van.
Because, they survive freaking, they say like what? Everything, right?
They'll outlive.
Yeah, that's the worst. I haven't seen, I haven't ran into too many like rodents. I had a couple times where I'd open a J box and they'd jump out. Nothing crazy, no.
You want to explain a J box for the folks that don't know what it is?
I say J box. Some people say MDU. Other people say, what is it, shanty? So it's just an outside box where we work on the outside of a home or a building or a panel. So just different names for the same thing on the outside of a building. But yeah, there was one I had grabbed the line from a competitor, opened up their box. As soon as I opened up the box, 2 rats just jumped out.
Live,
yeah. And the customer had a Doberman, and the Doberman went after him.
Ate him?
He got one of them, and the customer's like, "Get him!" Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It was pretty funny, but I like it jumped out at me, so I was like, "Oh." The customer's like, "Are you afraid of us?" I said, "I don't know. I guess I am." Because I don't want those things to bite me,
Like, hey, elephants are freaking us afraid of them.
Yeah. No, but like in an attic, nah. If I smell rat, if I see fresh rat, I'm like, I ain't working up there. Sorry, ain't gonna do it because you're going against on those beams. Something startles you. whatever you're trying to get away from it or run and like hit it or something like that, you're gonna hit a light, fall through the ceiling like I did one time.
What?
Yeah.
How did that
well,
happen?
I didn't fall through.
Your foot did.
No, I never even got up. So so it was in Rose Park area. It was in a garage, MDU that they made. This is back in the day. And the coworker that at the time that I was with said, I was like, let's just run it outside from the outside. Boom, boom. He's nah, we're gonna run it through the attic. It's like, all right. So he's like, go in the garage one. I'll go in the main house and I'll fish it through to you. I was like, all right. Well, I guess they didn't build it to code, the frame.
No.
Yeah, So I go. I'm getting up there. He's like, oh, I'm right here. So I was getting up. As soon as I braced up, as soon as I put my knee on that 2x4, I went straight back down.
So was that weak?
Yeah, it wasn't even. It was just, I guess, nailed to the sheetrock.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nails are stapled.
I don't even know what it was, and it was just there to hold the frame of the.
So how much damage was it? Just the lid?
Well, let's say about 4 feet of drywall came down with it.
Oh man.
Because as soon as I put my knee up, it just came down with me.
But you didn't fall through.
I didn't fall through. I didn't even get up. So I was literally like, you're pulling yourself up. I was like, oh no, here I come right back down.
That
So,
is
yeah.
really flimsy.
Yeah. So it was their fault because it wasn't built to code. But I got a couple days off out of it. No big deal.
Did they try to blame you?
No.
Oh, good.
No. Well,
They knew how bad it
yeah.
was.
Yeah, it was. They knew it was not built to code. So
Did you finish the job?
No. No, back then you didn't have to.
Oh.
Yeah, back then I actually kind of cared.
So, but they send you home anyways to go do a
Oh yeah, PB test,
drug test and
yeah.
urine test.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was
So-
good though. I like those tests because you just take a couple days off. like,
Well, and
wait
then
for
you
it.
definitely get the rest of the day off.
Yeah, for sure.
And then afterwards you come clean, and then you're like, oh yeah, take another day off.
Yeah.
We got to investigate.
Yeah. I haven't. They don't do them anymore or something because I've never heard of anyone going to take a test.
Well, you haven't been,
Well, anybody.
down a attic like that no more.
No.
So
Not me.
Haven't
Not-
had any accidents.
Not me myself, but like anybody. I haven't heard of anybody having to take a test.
I'll look into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
You're more in tune to everybody.
We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know. So infestations, that's kind of crazy. There's so many different things. Have you ever been in an attic where you actually seen something or under a house?
No, because I've always been, I don't know if careful or scared. Careful. I don't know. Like if I see
Cautious.
cautious, there you go. Maybe that's the word. If I see anything that's not legit, I'm not gonna do it. I straight up tell the customer, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
And just to be clear, it's not that you're being lazy and you want to
No.
get out of it. It's just protocol.
Right.
So company protocols, the
You
company
can
that you
be
work
the
for,
hero and go do it, but for what?
but the company will still tell you, if you see something like that, you got to let them know so they
Yeah.
can take care of it, clear it out. And then we come back and
Give them their
work it.
options.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time, customers are understanding. Most of the time, they don't want you there anyway because they're either ashamed or like they understand, like, hey, no one's been under my house for 20 years. I don't want you to go down there. What's down there?
Mhm.
So that's like post wire is better. Sometimes it's harder. Sometimes you want to do it underneath the house because it's faster. But, if I see something like that, I ain't going to take the chance.
Exactly. All right. So ready to spin it one more time and see what else we can get out of here? But this time spin it pretty good.
Look at you have 2 spots.
I know it's because we don't have a white marker. And those are kind of dark. Let's face it that way so they can see. Let's see here. What you got? Seniors. That's another popular one that we have.
That's our bread and butter.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of seniors.
A lot of seniors. Where do I begin?
Well, we had this conversation just, so you can get started with thinking. But we had this conversation where people think that, like the milkman joke back in the day,
Yeah.
but it's not like that. We mostly are the ones that are calling us for service calls and everything is just seniors. So
Yeah.
we deal a lot with seniors.
During the day, because they're the only ones home.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's their entertainment. That's all they do all day. Internet service, cable service, TV. You know, we're dealing with the seniors. But have you had any crazy situations with them?
I've had one where this lady was literally shitting her pants as she was walking away from me. You know, that bad.
But how, like, was she really old?
She was old. She was using a walker, and she, you know,
She had to go.
She got to go, and she went out of her diaper or something.
Ooh.
And you kind of, again, you turn a blind eye, like, oh, because she knows she's already embarrassed enough. It's like, you know, what do you do? So I've had that happen to me, and it's like, you walk out, you're like, oh, I got to go outside, and you give them a moment, and you just hope that they can fix themselves.
Was she by herself?
Yeah. I mean, it was a clean house. It wasn't like she was destitute or anything like that. She was just old, you know.
Right.
She just
Accidents
I think
happen,
those
you know, they're old.
situations, like for me, earlier in the career, you know, it's shocking. It might be like you might laugh or are totally disgusted or whatever. As time goes on, though, I find myself, I mean, you know, you feel bad, you want to respect them, and you don't want to make them feel bad, and it's like, we're all going to get there, you know what I'm saying? So it's not their fault. I just try to not embarrass, like you said, I don't want to embarrass them, point it out. If you say, oh, let me go get something, I'll go back out to the van, let them do whatever they have to do. Sometimes they don't get the point, and you come back in and they're still right there, and you're like, all right, well, let's just move forward then.
Let's do this.
Oh, but I've had older people talk down to me, you know, because they are mentally not there, you know, and you kind of
challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge, you know. It's like, you know, they're not there anymore. So they're just set in their ways, and it's like, you don't take it personal, you know.
And they want it their way.
Yeah, it's like,
but that speaks to the maturity and professionalism of the individual. Like you just said, you have to recognize, read the room, and do what you need to do. You know what I mean, respect them as a person, a human being, and do your job.
If it's an easy fix, and you know it's their fault because they don't comprehend, what can you do? You're gonna have to sit there and argue with them to a point and say, hey, no, well, you're not doing it right, or you just tell them, okay, you're right, and they're still gonna argue with you. Yeah. So what do? You know, just sit there and just, all right, well, you know, they're gonna call back.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Now going back to the smell though.
You like the smell?
No, back, bro. This is one thing that I was gonna ask you guys, because you've been in the cable industry as an installer, as a repair service man for a long time. So have you. So have I. When you walk into a senior's home, you get that smell of, have they been farting all day?
Sure.
Yeah.
But they don't open the windows.
Yeah.
No, they have the heater, and
they have the heater on.
It is the middle of summer, and they still have the heater on.
It's 100 degrees outside, and they still have the heater inside. But you walk in, and it smells like fart.
Yeah.
Because
we're
human, we fart.
They're fucking 100. They don't know that.
But they don't open the window.
They're cold.
But you got to give them a pass, bro.
But it's hot outside. Yeah. It's hot inside. You open the window.
Body changes, bro. You're always blood pressure. I don't know.
Right, but you notice that. Like, you walk into a house.
I'm a big guy. It's 60 degrees and I sweat outside, right? Because it's just me. It's 100 degrees and I still got to put on a sweater, you know?
There used to be a time, well, at least I don't know if you guys, but for me, there was a time that we would frequent the homes. They sit, you know, and they weren't as fancy as they are now. But
are you talking about like convalescent homes where?
Yeah.
So there was one on the south end off of
There's that one and the one on the north over, and that has that aroma. Yeah, it's like a hospitalish
shit.
Mixed with some sort of medical tape, but yeah, there's that scent that you know, and those used to affect me.
Yeah,
you know, honestly, you would go in there and
you would have to step outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, one they're not
blessed though employees though.
Yeah,
and day in day out they're there. You know, hopefully we'll get one of those in here one day. But
you know,
it's just a whole scenario.
The new thing right now is residential old folks homes where they turn a house into
Yes.
an old folks home, and those aren't the cleanest places. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are pretty bad.
But you know, when they're screaming and they're yelling, and they might have maybe a form of dementia or something going on.
There's a
And you have others with there's just this whole thing going on, and you have to stay focused, whether they're begging for you to get them out. You know, I've had people like, hey, take me with you, and you're like,
Yeah.
dang, is it you want to say, is everything okay? But or you know, are you just you're seeing things that aren't there? But it's really messes with you. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. But you know, again, bless the employees that are there, because they have to deal with that day in and day out. You know, with people with Alzheimer's, definitely, you know, it's something that nobody ever wants to get. Hopefully, we get to be old, just like all these old people that we're talking about.
I want to die when I'm young, bro. I don't want to have this fucking problem, bro. You imagine?
Wait, but
my kids aren't gonna wipe my ass, bro. I'm gonna be
mine better. I don't know.
I'm gonna be in one of those homes, and I don't want to shit myself. So I'd rather go.
Well, the newer ones are amazing. I don't, you know, there's those newer ones. It's like a resort, and you're like, well, I don't know if I'll have the money for that.
Right.
We're
gonna go
nice.
to.
But there's new technology. There are new technologies coming up. You know, there's already bidets. So there's things that help.
Sit my ass down. No one, bro. My kids are gonna fucking abandon me.
Rubinu.
Yeah. As long as those fucking checks clear, they're gonna.
You're back in the shed tied up.
That's it, Dad. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
We're selling the house.
Yeah,
got a moving truck out front.
The older clientele, some of them are great, and I would say the majority are great, because you get the ones that make you cookies, that, you know, like, hey, I don't really know what's wrong. They said they called and they said there's a problem. All right, they leave you alone. You know, the house is nice.
They want you to hang out.
Yeah, they want you to just talk to them for a little bit because they're lonely, because no one talks to them. You get a backstory. I always ask customers where they're from if they're older.
Isn't that always interesting though?
Yeah, because I was like, how did you end up in Oxnard? Or how did you end up in Ventura? And they're like, oh, I'm from the East Coast, and, you know, my husband was in the military, or, you know, something like that. So I want to track kind of like, how did they get here? Because, you know, Oxnard was pretty small back then when they moved here, or Ventura, what have you. So it's interesting to me that they decided to live here for the rest of their life. And I'm like, Camarillo is nice.
It's a big senior community in Camarillo.
Yeah.
And it's actually really nice there. And you're right. That's one of the reasons, you know, not to say the seniors are bad or anything. No, they're great.
Yeah.
And we go to their houses, and yeah, like you said, they make us cookies and a lot of things. They want companionship or just somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
But, you know,
like, you're the only one that's came over all day. You know,
exactly.
And you're the one that, you know, you're fixing their TV. That's their sole entertainment.
Exactly. Have you had any of them ask you to lunch?
No.
Or
no.
Take you like, hey, let's go to lunch?
No. I've had job offers. I've had, you know, not like that, but no, like, hey, come work for me, or hey, you know, like, oh, you can, you know, but like nothing like, oh, let's go to lunch, or, you know, hang out after work.
So you didn't see the previous episode. So you don't have neighbors or family member that call you, hey, you know, this isn't working. Can you come check this out?
I don't have my van. Sorry. Yeah.
That's a good one. I used that before.
Yeah. I don't have any. My van's at work.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
All my tools are over there.
Yeah, it's true, though. I mean, I don't even do stuff at my house anymore.
Well, you're like the mechanics.
Yeah.
Right? The gardener.
Yeah.
Weeds are overgrown.
Yeah.
The cars and
auto
the driveway.
bodies all banged up.
Yep.
The car's all in parts.
The plumber.
Nobody fixes it.
Yeah.
The plumber's got 2 toilets that don't work in the house. They only have that one.
I'll get around to it. Yeah. Yeah. That's the last thing you want to do when you get home is pick up a freaking tool. And, you know, the other day my wife wanted me to do Ethernet line. I was like, oh. And it was for a PlayStation for my stepdaughter, and it took all of 10 minutes because there was already a hole there. But it's like me thinking in my head, oh, I have to get this tool, I have to get this tool, I have to get the ladder, then it's gonna go up there, then drop it down, and those damn connectors are a pain in the ass sometimes. So I'm already rallying myself up in my head.
And it's my day off.
Yeah, well, that's the
I
way.
just wanna
Yeah, I just want to
rest.
relax.
I don't want to work.
And she's like, she told me, she's like, either you do it now or you do it on the weekend. So I did it before work. I grabbed some stuff, did it before work. You know, it's like I don't want to waste my time on the weekends.
Oh, the job. Well, let me ask you this, because we like to ask the question, right? This job, did you choose this job, or did the job choose you?
I chose this job a long time ago.
So-
But actually, I was supposed to have a warehouse position.
So you apply for multiple jobs
I applied for warehouse in
here,
Oh,
or
in-
what the company you work for?
Yeah, with the company I work for in 2007.
so okay, so you
Yeah,
chose to do or apply for the job, but not this particular position,
right. So I was looking.
So by
through-
default, then.
But so this is what happened. So I get a call saying like, "Hey, we see that you want to work for us for a warehouse position." I was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm interested." They're like, "Well, we don't have any more, but
Well, no.
yeah, well, no, but we don't have any, but we have technician positions available." And I was like, she's like, "It pays more, and you know, you get X, Y, and Z." And I was like, "All right." She's like, "Well, are you comfortable climbing ladders?" I was like, "She said, we'll train you. Don't worry about it." So I took the.
You're like, I'm not afraid of heights.
Yeah, I am afraid of heights. Yeah, but I'm fucking blanking out here. So I took the interview, and
There's too many of these.
yeah, I took the interview.
Cheers.
I interviewed,
Cheers.
and
As a matter of fact.
I got the job. And it was back then we had a really great shift, by the way. 4 10-hour days was beautiful, and it was rotating, so you'd get like 4 days off in a row. Sometimes it was
What year was that? When you started?
2007.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Same year I started.
Yeah, so it was beautiful. It was great. You
Rotating
rotating,
410s.
yeah, rotating 410. So you
And then
would
you would
work
get the-
every other Saturday.
But you would get the 5 days off.
Yeah, but you get the 5 days off sometimes.
That was the best.
It was glorious.
So you seem to be
Back then, I still had the gleam in my eye, right?
So then I follow up with this. So if you had the opportunity to do it again, would you do it again?
Absolutely.
You would.
Yeah, because in the long run, it served me well. You know, there's times this job eats at you. You know, you curse it. You know, you're like, I hate this place. But what provides for your family, this job?
Let me ask you this. You wake up and it's pouring rain.
Yeah.
It's gray, it's dark,
Yeah.
and go. What are your thoughts?
Well, I wake up at 7. I don't go to work till 12. Wake up, and if it's like a normal day where the kids go to school, you know.
Oh, I'm saying on those days where it's pouring
Oh.
rain, it's lightning.
What excuse can I give to
All
call?
right, see,
No,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what is going
no.
through your mind? Because in another episode, I talked about, you know,
I can't-
that those are the times when I'm sitting in an attic and you've done something wrong, you've forgotten something, and you put it on yourself with the weather that we have to work in. You know, it's a rarity when I tell customers, well, you'll go to the door and it's pouring, it's lightning, you're muddy, and they'll say, oh, come back another day. No, everybody wants their service. There ain't no
Yeah.
coming back.
Very rare nowadays that where they say we don't want you to do the job. They say, no, I'm sorry, I need my internet.
Right.
You know.
So what's going through your mind when it's pouring? I mean, does that affect you in this job that you love so much?
It's what it is. you can't have that. Even though I do, and you know, at home, my wife, if you talk to her, she'll tell you, I hate going to work when it rains. I hate it so much.
It's funny that you say that. We got her on the phone.
Yeah.
Patrick.
But she knows, like, I'm not happy. So she's watching out. She's calling, like, hey, how are you doing? It's just one of those things. You know, we don't complain when it's sunny. You know, we hardly get any
Well,
rain.
it depends how sunny it is. If it's 110
Yeah.
degrees,
We don't
then-
get that here. You do over there, but we
Yeah,
don't. We get a
yeah.
nice little breeze.
Yeah, I know.
We're fine. But I complain because it helps me vent, but I don't. I'm
It's
out
not
there.
like it's not like I'm gonna quit because
No,
it's freaking raining like this guy over here.
no.
I quit multiple times, right?
I quit in my head every day.
See
bro.
what I'm saying, Giorgio?
I'm like,
So
fuck.
that's in your mind.
See?
I'm like, fuck this place sometimes, bro. Like I'll
But then you got a senior giving you cookies.
yeah, it's
And then
true.
you're like, oh.
yeah. You know what? I can tell you that the poorest people give you the most.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
You hit it right, the nail right in the head.
Yeah, they expect the least. You give them the most because it's like, bro, these are nice people. So let's help them out. So you help them out as much as you can. You clean it all up, and they give you waters. They make you food. You know,
they keep on asking like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Yeah.
But
and they'll give you so much. And on the other token, the people that don't really that are well off, I guess you could say, those are the ones that expect it. The ones that expect it, you're just nothing to them. And sometimes you just you feel it as soon as you walk out the door. And it's.
I'll tell you a story about that one. So I went to one where it was somebody that
you
was
work
working
over there where it's.
Well, this was while I was still here, as a technician. Yeah, so I, went to this house, and it was freaking hot. It was a new installation. I had installed several cable boxes in several rooms and internet service, and I had to run some lines through the outside. And we're talking about it's the middle of summer, and it's really humid out here some days. And I carry water with me all the time. But this one time, I'm working there, and I do have my water in the car. This guy comes up, and as I'm replacing some connections and things like that, I'm freaking sweating. And this guy just comes up with a water bottle. The water bottle is just sweating from how cold it is. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, he's going to give me this water bottle. Man, like, you can feel it, right? And he comes like, man, it's so freaking hot out here, right? And I'm like, yeah, man.
You're taking your gloves off to receive the bottle?
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes like this. He opens it, starts chugging it. He's like, man, I don't know how you guys do it.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, this mother...
Did he pour the rest of it out while he was talking?
No. He just drank it, chugged it, turned around, and walked away. And I'm like, hey, I'll be back.
He did that on purpose, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But that goes to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I just went back to my truck and drank. I mean, I have
hot water.
I had a little cooler, and it was still a little.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself first. But, like, most people are good people, and they're like, they'll just offer you a bottle of water just because it's what they do. If someone comes to the house, they offer you a bottle of water. Like, hey, would you like some water? Would you like a Coke? You go a little extra, they offer you more. You don't necessarily take it all the time, but it's nice. Yeah. And with people like that, you do want to give them more. Hey, let me change out your remotes. Let me hardline this thing for you. Let me get your internet right or something. You just want to do extra for those people because they're just nice.
Exactly.
And then some people, like you said, it's like
it's like you get a Karen that they're just complaining.
Oh yeah, bare minimum. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of those in Ojai, bro.
Oh yeah.
No, there was one that wanted me to close the attic door after I went inside.
While you were in there?
While you were inside?
Yeah. Oh. Because she had yeah.
She didn't want that dust coming inside the house.
She was like, "Can you close it?" I was like,
"You can breathe it."
Yeah. I was like, "No, I can't. I can't do that. I'll die." It's like
it's 120 degrees up here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not good. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had anybody under the influence while you go to a house?
Yeah, all the time.
Was there anybody that was kind of just barely there, and you were kind of like, "Oh no"?
No. There's been a couple times where like you can tell someone's really drunk, and I'll just remove myself from the situation. I was like, "Yeah, I'll be back," and I won't go back. I just don't even take that chance with some people. Some people hide it better than others, so you don't know until you're in there, and
the morning drinkers.
Yeah. Or the beach drinkers, the guys that live on the beach and they're just drinking all day. Yeah, the retirees.
Yep.
They're funny, but sometimes they get a little bit too much.
If you get there early, they're still good. Yeah. But you get there like at noon, and
they're like, yeah. Oh, the dock guys, the ones that live out on the docks. Oh yeah, they're always smashed.
Because day and night it's the same thing for them, right? They're like, what time is it?
They're literally like this.
And it's 5 o'clock.
It's not just the dock, bro. It's just them. Just like,
but are we mad because they're drunk, or are we mad because we can't be drunk?
Exactly, because we want to know. I'm a cool drunk, but with
Well,
some,
so you say,
Right. Right.
but if I drink,
Depends who says that.
no, beer drunk is different than whiskey drunk. Right?
Oh, that's true. Yes.
So if it's a lot of whiskey, I tend to overreact, and you get a little bit more wild. And same
More
thing with
angry sometimes.
not angry in the sense I'm
We
not
got to
an
wrap
angry
this
drunk.
up real quick, George.
But it's just like customers. It depends on what they're drinking. If it's their daily drink, they're just drunk on beer, and you can tell they're beer drinkers because you can see all the beers everywhere, and they're fine.
Yeah.
But if it's a hard liquor guy, and you can tell they're little, you're like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Any illegal stuff that you ran into?
Drugs always on the table, but it's just like you walk in the morning, like when you're working in the morning, like, you see drugs, you see bongs, but nowadays it's nothing. But back then, you saw drugs, you're like, oh, don't go in there, But like, I don't care. It's just I don't want them to do it in front of me, It's like, oh, just don't do it in front of me, and that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I just like, oh, it's legal, so I can't really tell them anything.
Right.
I just have to.
But even still, even though it's legal and they do it in front of you, you get the secondhand smoke, and then you end up falling through the attic, and now you gotta go get a.
I can't. I don't know
urine
how that
test.
shit works, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
It's
not a
kinda-
drug addict, bro. I don't know.
What?
I've went to a couple places where they have like guns everywhere. It's like you open a closet, there's a shotgun there. You go to the next one, there's a rifle there. You're like hoping that they're legal, but you just, being a gun person, you're like, all right, well, that's a gun. You just leave it there. Nothing too crazy. No pounds of meth or like kilos of nothing. I haven't seen anything like that.
Just a line here and
Yeah.
there, a bong there.
Nothing crazy. Normal run of the mill stuff. Everyone's personal.
Normal for us because
Yeah.
we go to so many houses
Right.
and
Yeah.
we see all that stuff, right?
I seen
Which is kind of a
It's like
irony.
you
Crack
as soon as
pipes.
you start talking to the person, you go in, you pretty much
Yeah.
know what you're working with.
yeah.
now any crazy things ever with any of your coworkers? Any funny things or anything crazy that might have happened in your 16 years?
17 years.
17?
There's a lot of technicians that aren't working there anymore. Former technicians.
So we can talk all kinds of crap.
Yeah. But those are the guys that I learned from because your team
Yeah, we need
teaches
to talk to them.
So
Yeah.
shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them, and also I need to relearn some stuff too because
Yeah, they didn't teach you properly. You
Yeah.
didn't teach them properly.
Yeah, no, they're good. It's just
A lot of
ha-
shortcuts.
there's a right way, the wrong way, and our way, as we used to say.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do to get home on time, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But
Mhm.
all these guys that aren't here anymore, if they were here now, guarantee they would be fired. There would be like HR visits with them because you know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about, right? It's
Oh,
like funny dude, love him. I used to hang out with him all the time. Used to go drinking every other Friday, go to the bars and stuff. But he would really bend the rules or break the rules, if you know what I'm talking about.
Get
as
them to
far as
that point where it's like
personal touch. There was no personal space with him. He would touch your no-no square, if you know what I mean. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. You know who you are. But he's a good guy. And
Follow us, subscribe.
yeah. And then there's another guy, a shorter individual, but he was always funny too. But he was mean funny. But I liked him. He was cool.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah. He was how I say this. He always said the right thing or the wrong things at the right time, I guess, because he was just funny like that, you
Yeah.
know. And him and the supervisors would beef all the time. He would always get talked to, but it was cool. And I still talk to him every now and then, and like I can't.
Was it a situation where they actually put you in a tough spot where you
There was a situation.
trouble?
There was a situation where so they were on my beginning team back in 2007, and there was some other people there. And one of these individuals wanted to fight a supervisor right then and there
in the office?
in the office. But this is back in the good old days,
Right. It was a
And
different
What?
company
When you
back
could
then.
fight with a supervisor?
back then, I heard you could just take it outside. This is when it was changing from the one company to the new company, And
3 companies back, no?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, third company's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That was the Wild West.
yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty funny because the supervisor was just like kind of like reading a book, like a HR manual, like what to do or something like that. But I was like new, so I'm like, oh, this is gonna happen. You know, this gonna happen. You know, it's like it was pretty bad. You know,
let's go outside, bro.
yeah.
Let's do this.
Nowadays that don't fly.
No.
You know,
You were like,
yeah.
you need to go to HR really
Yeah,
quick.
exactly.
We're not going outside.
That's what- that-
You're going inside.
Those are the days when they would say like, oh, we would just go to the fields or go behind the thing and squash it. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Come back and be
when
besties.
technicians were men, you know, as they would say. But nowadays,
No, it's all grabbing no-nos. I don't know what
Yeah.
that means.
no squares have been grabbed.
It's a different times, you know. Now it's like something like that happens, it's like you get canceled.
Yeah.
So different times for sure. And you know, on that note, we want to thank you, Ruben, for being here.
Oh, it's over?
For joining us.
I got more stories.
Well, we'll want you to come back another time.
You can always join us back.
There's this one time where I almost peed in the customer's attic because I had to go so bad. And then
I heard you did.
stop. Who told you? It was in Colonia. Nobody knew about it. Nah. It was great to be here, guys. I appreciate it. It was fun. I'd like to do it again if you'll have me back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll like to have you back. You know, we're just starting our podcast. Hopefully we get a lot of viewers and subscribers, and definitely record some more episodes. We're doing this as a, you know, it's something brand new for us too. So we'll definitely like to have you back. And, you know, for everybody out there, subscribe and share. And we'll definitely bring more stories from Ruben and other co-workers. We're trying to bring some other people from other industries too, not just the cable service.
Oh, yeah.
And so everybody can hear from other service workers, you
Other
know,
perspective.
from industries from all over. And we want to thank you. Ruben, once again, thank you. Richard, anything else?
No, I'm just thankful you came out, spent some time, and hopefully you
thank you.
come back again.
Thank you for having me, for real. It was fun. Like I said, I'll do it again if you'll have me. I'll hopefully have more stories. It's 17 years, guys, and you want me to think about everything. It's a lot.
No. I mean, that's why I'm saying we were building this cast of characters, as I
Yeah.
call them, and we just shuffle through because, you know, things will start to come back to individuals, and hopefully we can share that.
Definitely. I know you have a ton of stories for the 17 years you've been working in the cable industry. You've gone to thousands of homes per year, not just overall, but per year. You literally got to thousands of homes. So met every walk of life and had so many
You know,
stories.
like, real quick, you know what I miss? I miss COVID.
Because everybody would just be like, leave me the boxes in
Yeah,
front of the house.
I miss COVID so much. I just do. It's like, yeah, just throw it through the window.
Well, I hear he's coming back, so
Well, let's hope not. But cheers. We're going to be drinking some more whiskey next time. Cheers. And maybe some cigars.
Ooh.
So we'll see. And, you know, shift over. Thank you.